Welcome back, guys. It's Thomas, and today we are looking at these Scooby Doo figures from Jada Toys. Now, these have been sitting in a pile of unopened toys in my room for about a month now, but spooky season's almost over. Want to get these open before Halloween so I can at least use these as Christmas decorations. Halloween decorations, not Christmas. It feels like Christmas is right around the corner since all the stores are selling Christmas decorations. I like to use some spooky toys as Halloween decorations, and these are the perfect fit. Of course, I'm going to keep these out all year, but I'm just super stoked to get these. This is not a line that I've really have been wanting, but when I saw them, I knew I had to have them. So now that we have the first three, very excited about that. And we have Shaggy, the Creeper, and the Mummy of Akka? Anyways, these are super cool. We have a lot more on the way. They've already announced Scooby and 2 more villains. They've already announced Daphne and 2 more villains. So we're closing in on the Mystery Gang, which is awesome. We don't have to wait too long, but I'm okay with waiting because I like how Jada releases their figures. A few Street Fighter figures here and there. You saw me just unbox that Frosty the Snowman. Don't know how many Rankin and Bass characters we'll get, but I like the pace of how they release stuff. And I don't feel rushed to get everything. I don't feel like everything's overwhelming. What is getting overwhelming now, there is multiple Jada Toys lines that I'm collecting now. Luckily, Street Fighter's almost towards the end. This one's just starting. Rankin and Bass is just starting. But then I kind of cherry pick from the others. I only have one Mega Man figure, but I've bought a lot of Jada Toys figures over the last year and a half. So I think this is one of my new favorite companies, and they just keep producing lots of cool stuff. So anyways, today we're here to look at these Scooby Doo figures. Super excited about them, and I can't wait to get them out of the package. Now, I think for the most part, their package design are all the same. And I remember getting these out of the box from either Big Bad or wherever I ordered them from. And I thought there was water damage on the inside of the box, but that's just a cool misting effect. So it looks like they did some overspray of white to make it look like fog. Really cool. I should have picked up on that from the beginning, but I didn't because I'm stupid. But they all have this cool purple kind of packaging. 13 and up. I don't know why these are meant for an older audience, but you know, these should be widely available for any collector. Some really nice artwork on the side of the box, animated shots of each character. And then on the back, you do get a nice product shot of each. You see the gang in the mystery machine right below. That's pretty cool. We're going to talk more about that later, but let's get these guys all out of the package and check them out. Now, Jada Toys always does a really cool job with their backdrops. Unfortunately, there is no slipcover in this box, so if you did want to use this as a display, you can cut it out. I would suggest maybe even just keeping the box and putting the figure in there, and it still looks pretty cool with the mist there, but that beautiful artwork in the back of that haunted mansion, super cool. I just wish it was a slipcover so that it was a little more display friendly. All right, here's all 3 figures out of the package, and you know, in pure Jada Toys fashion, I love all these. They look great. There's a few things I've noticed that are really great for this line, but kind of upset me about another one, and I'll show you that when I go over articulation. But I love this. This is a great first out of the bat. 3 characters, right? I think they're going to slowly build the team, and then you give us some creatures in between. Now, I've gotten a Mummy figure before this year. I've gotten the Goosebumps one, but that one's like a 5 POA figure. This one has a lot of articulation, and I'm going to go through articulation a little bit. I just love how clever Jada Toys gets with their articulation because these are all unique sculpts, so they have room to play, and I think that's great. So we'll start with Shaggy first. Let's get these monsters out of the way. So first, just looking at Shaggy, I like that they went with this more modern look. See, with the white in the eyes and the pupils. I think if they went with original look where the animation just had the black dots for the eyes, I don't think that would have translated super well to action figure form, but he has a great side profile and front. So I think updating this a little bit with more modern animation looks great. And, you know, all the details you need. Green shirt, brown pants, black shoes, and everything looks super cartoony, which is great. That's how I want them to look. And as far as articulation goes, these figures move probably way better than they should. So really cool. One of the things I like the most is his neck articulation. He has this long neck. I don't think I have an action figure that has a neck like that. And it's just really exaggerated. So really cartoon pose. I like that they hide the arm swivel in the sleeve so you can't even see that. No pins on this at all. And then there is a thigh cut, which you can't see because his t-shirt covers it. So that's really great. Jada Toys, mostly everything out of the package is going to move pretty nice. So never any complaints there. And we do get some cool extras with Shaggy. We do get an alternative set of open hands, a box of Scooby snacks that's open, and I love that. And there are some details on the inside. It's brown. Not sure, quite sure if you could see it, but it is brown in there to make it look like there's more Scooby snacks in. And you do get one little patty of a Scooby snack, so that can just fit right in there, but just be careful you don't lose it. I'm going to try to keep that in there without losing mine. And then you do get an alternative head, and to my surprise, they put a lot more detail into this than they had to. I think what's really cool is if you're looking at the actual head sculpt that it comes with, they even did different hair. So since this one has a more exaggerated face, his hair is a little more higher up, right? Because this is his scared look. So I do like that they went the extra mile and resculpted the hair just a little bit, at least in the front. But I love that open mouth. That looks really cool. And now we're going to look at the mummy of Anka, like ankle, but Anka. I actually did watch the episode. I am not a Scooby Doo historian or professional, but if you go on Tubi, which is free, you can watch both seasons of Scooby Doo, Where Are You? This guy, he is featured in season 1, episode 12. And I remember that off the top of my head. Now, we went over Scooby's articulation. I'll go over this guy's articulation in a second, but it's just crazy when you look at Jada, who's pretty new at the action figure game. The articulation they get on this guy, and I'll just pull out. I didn't review this McFarlane Scarecrow, but look at his articulation at the waist. He can top out about that much moving forward and that much moving back. So almost nothing. Now, for these cartoon characters, and for a company that this, action figures was not originally their bread and butter, look at all that range you get forward and back. I mean, maybe it's because you need those really exaggerated cartoon poses, but that's just really impressive. And, kind of shame on McFarlane for not figuring that out. But detail-wise, it's not just plain white. There's lots of wash on here. He has little red dots on his eyes, which I think is cool. He has this really dirty look, so I think it's really nice that they actually went the extra mile. Got some articulation on his bandana there. And the only thing that is concerning is that this bandage is attached to the upper arm, the bicep, and then the forearm. So I would just be super careful when you're going to move this arm. I hope that never tears. That would stink, but just something to look out for. But I love his mittens. No fingers, just has those mittens wrapped up. Pretty cool. And again, all the articulation is hidden super well because of the design. So you got the wraps here, got swivel at the bicep. This guy even has butterfly joints. It's crazy. That's crazy. Like, do you need this much articulation on a figure like this? I don't know, but I like it. And then the thigh cut hidden by the wraps again. And look, a little extra detail there and some added articulation. So this guy, for what he is, goes pretty hard compared to, like a McFarlane figure who's been in the game for years. And you do get a set of fisted hands with the Mummy of Anka, and they have that great wash and dirt all over them. So really nice. And I hope they do this with all of the villains, but you do get an unmasked feature. So this is the wrap that can go on him. Not sure which way it goes on, but you can put it on any old way you want. And then it's supposed to emulate the mystery gang kind of ripping this off and unveiling the villain. And this is Dr. Najib. And I believe he should look more Egyptian. He has kind of a Tony Stark look going on here. So I would have preferred some darker tones, but the face does look good. Of course, he has that evil mustache. So awesome that you get an unmasked head. And last but not least of these 3 figures, we have the Creeper, who is on season 2, episode 3, which is interesting because he actually shows up in the credits of episode or season 1. Again, not an expert. I literally just went and watched the episodes on Tubi for free. So if you want to go ahead and do the same, go for it. So again, love the design. A lot of the articulation's hidden. So we'll kind of just like look at some details first. I think the face sculpt looks awesome. I mean, that's exactly how he looks. Lighting on the show, he's not always this color green, so I can let that pass. I guess you have to choose a color, but you got the bicep swivel in the suit, and he has some pretty cool looking hands. Now, articulation's hidden well beneath the jacket. So with the jacket closed, this guy can still get pretty far forward and pretty far back. So that's neat. Now, he does have a thigh cut hidden by the jacket, and you could open this. So if you wanted that open, you could. And I just love his wingspan. Look at his arms. They come all the way down. Really cool. And again, these guys move like butter. Can't complain. So really cool episode. When I think of Scooby Doo villains, this is probably the one that comes to mind first. And I don't think I ever knew his name was the Creeper, but he was supposed to be some sort of phantom. Of course, they all have the same motive, robbing a bank or robbing some artifact. He was robbing from his own company. And you do get a set of open hands. These are kind of long, lanky fingers, looking real creepy. And then you do get an awesome surprised unmasked face of Mr. Carwell. And this is the guy that was robbing money from the safe. One thing that I complain about G.I. Joe Classified, if they come with sunglasses, they don't stay on. These glasses are removable. And you can see the way that they kind of sculpted that into the side. It makes it real easy for him to hold those sunglasses. And it also helps, kind of has big ears. So, pretty cool there. If you want to pop those back on, they're pretty snug. But what I think is really awesome, his unmasked version, this thing looks like something out of Beetlejuice. But it's the mask stretching as it's being taken off of him. And it does fit this. You have to take the glasses off and you just kind of shove that in there. And that's really cool. I'm actually excited to get Scooby because Scooby's the one that unmasks him. So I think that would be really cool to kind of recreate that iconic scene. So awesome stuff that comes with these guys. Now, something I 100% did not need was another 1/12 scale vehicle, but this one fell into my lap through circumstances where I just couldn't say no. Was on a live stream with Victor, we're talking about some fun things happening, some new releases. I think we were talking about these Scooby Doo figures, and I said I wish I had the Mystery Machine from the Scoob movie because a lot of people are pairing those together. And I have to give a shout out to Captain McKAy. He was awesome enough to sell this for me at cost, which was really cool. But he had one of these lying around, and I was gladly able to take that off of his hands. So not only do I get to open these figures now, we're going to get this out of the box and see how the figures look next to this Mystery Machine. And again, courtesy to Captain McKAy for sending this over. So this is from the movie Scoob. I think as soon as these Jada Toy figures were announced, everyone was kind of picking up this Mystery Machine, and I was kind of late to the party, but Captain McKAy sent this to me, so thank you, bud. I really appreciate it. And, it's a kid's toy, so it doesn't have all the details we need, but this is going to go perfectly with these Jada Toy figures. And, it has more modern designs with the surfboards on top and all these gadgets. There was just 2 roof racks on the original design, but I don't care. I mean, this checks most of the boxes. No windows here. Got a front windshield, and it does light up. I don't know if it's supposed to stay lit, but I have to hold the button down, and that's okay. I'm never going to have the lights on. Maybe if you hit try me. What happens when you do that? Okay, so it kind of makes a noise, but we do not want to listen to that, so I'm just going to turn that off, and let's just see how Shaggy fits in here. There's Shaggy in there. I think he looks great. I don't think we're going to get the whole mystery gang in there because normally you see the 4 humans inside the front seat. Scooby-Doo's kind of hanging over the edge. Definitely not going to get 4 figures in there once those figures do come out. But for now, this is a great place, and I'm also running out of room. So what's really cool is that I'm going to kind of use this as storage. So, you know, when I'm pretending that these monsters are getting, you know, captured by the mystery gang, I could just kind of have them with their hands behind their back like they're getting arrested, hanging out in the back of the truck. So, and then in the meantime, since I don't have a shelf for all these figures to go in, I'm going to put both of the villains inside the back, and now I have some storage. So really awesome there. So what do you think, guys? Are you picking up these Jada Toys Scooby Doo figures? I'm probably all into this line, which I say that a lot. At the same time, I say I'm tampering back and not buying as much, but you know, I really cut back on Marvel Legends, so maybe this is just a trade-off. Although I've also increased my G.I. Joe classified purchases. Anyway, these are fantastic. I can't wait to get more of the gang. I'll pick and choose with the creatures. I maybe don't need them all, but these were two pretty iconic ones where I wanted to get the first three out the bat. So anyways, hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, hit like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it if you just hit subscribe. It's free. I'm trying to get to 3,000 by the end of the year. I don't think I will, but if you want to help a guy out, go ahead and hit subscribe. And we will be live again Tuesday night. If you happen to catch us, we're going to be talking about Halloween memories of the 80s and 90s. So if you want to pop in and join, go for it. And until the next episode, we'll catch you next time.